when your temperature drops to minus 35 degrees Celsius. Cold enough that boiling water can turn into snow in just a heartbeat. But at the northern border of China, that bone-chilling cold is the starting gun for the craziest mission on the planet. Right now, an army of 10,000 engineers and workers is starting a brutal race against time. Their mission? To build a city with an area of 810,000 square meters. To easily visualize, it is as wide as 113 football stadiums combined. The total weight of materials reaches 200,000 tons, heavier than even a Nimitz-class nuclear aircraft carrier. A project of such scale usually takes 5 years to complete, but here they have exactly 15 days. If delayed by 1 hour, the sun will destroy everything. If wrong by 1 millimeter, the 40-meter-tall towers will collapse. So how did the workers build this giant ice city from zero? What secret techniques were applied? Let's find out with wind right now. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to the channel to support us in releasing more fascinating mega project videos. Let's start. To create a high load-bearing megastructure, the prerequisite factor is always the material. In Harbin, engineers do not use ice produced from factories, but harvest it right beneath their feet, the Songhua River. Why don't they use artificial ice machines to speed up the progress? The answer lies in the laws of physics. The ceaseless flow of the river creates natural pressure, squeezing all air bubbles out. This creates a type of natural river ice that is dense, as hard as granite, and perfectly transparent. In contrast, artificial ice has a porous structure because it contains many air bubbles. If used to bear the load of a 15-story building, the structure would crumble immediately under the weight of hundreds of tons. As soon as the ice layer reaches the safety standard of 30 centimeters, the river surface instantly turns into a giant factory. First, technical teams use geodesic equipment and ink lines to draw thousands of precise squares on the ice surface. Next, specialized steel-bladed swing saw machines rush into action. They cut deep down, shaping material blocks that are precise to the centimeter, 80 centimeters wide, 1.2 meters long. But the saw does not cut completely through. Workers must use iron crowbars to strike hard and separate each ice block manually. Each block weighs up to 700 kilograms. Mistakes are forbidden. Every day they are forced to harvest over 10,000 blocks like this, just to keep up with the schedule for the next stage. When the 700-kilogram ice block is separated from the water, the real battle begins. Transporting ice is a logistical nightmare, because even though it is very hard, ice is extremely brittle. Workers use specialized iron hooks to pull each block onto the shore. Then, forklifts stack them onto trucks. Here, an immutable rule is applied. Handle with care or throw it away. Just one hard impact when a truck goes over a pothole, the ice block will develop hidden cracks and be rejected immediately. Because a single cracked brick could cause the entire tower to collapse later. To ensure a continuous supply, a fleet of hundreds of trucks operates 24/7, creating a non-stop cycle between the river and the construction site. On average, one truck departs every 15 seconds. Engineers call this the material flow. It is like the blood vessels in the human body. If one truck breaks down on the road, the entire chain behind it will get clogged, and the goal of finishing in 15 days will fail. As soon as materials gather at the site, the foundation process begins at breakneck speed. Here, you will see something strange. There are absolutely no concrete mixers or welding sparks. Builders use a type of mortar that is the most primitive but most effective: water. The operating principle is based on temperature difference. When liquid water is poured onto the ice surface, which is at minus 30 degrees, a physical reaction happens instantly. The water freezes in just seconds, creating a cold fusion bond. Two separate ice blocks stick tightly together into a single, uniform block. This joint is even harder than the original ice block itself, creating an extremely solid foundation. However, the biggest challenge when erecting the tower is the height. The central tower is usually up to 45 meters high. At that altitude, the wind blows very strongly. To ensure absolute safety, engineers are forced to use a massive steel frame as the internal backbone. But for thousands of tons of ice to stand firmly around that steel frame, they apply the pyramid structure. Walls at the base of the tower are built very thick, sometimes up to 2 to 3 meters. The higher it goes, the thinner and smaller the wall becomes. This helps lower the center of gravity of the building, making it stand firm like a rock amidst the snowstorm. After the rough work is done, the tower now looks like massive square boxes. This is when the builders retreat, giving up the scaffolding to the sculptors. Their job is carving. Thousands of artisans must hang suspended high up in the bone-chilling cold. They use chainsaws to cut away excess ice, use grinders to smooth the surface, and use chisels to shape details. Amidst the flying ice dust like mist, they turn flat walls into dragons, phoenixes, and domes exquisite to the millimeter. And the final piece to complete this masterpiece is light. Unlike normal buildings, Harbin does not use floodlights from the outside, but must glow from its very inner core. The cold-resistant LED system was silently embedded deep inside the walls by electricians right during the stacking process. When night falls and the switch is flipped, the light does not shine directly but scatters through the thick ice layer. It refracts multiple times, turning the cold ice citadel instantly into a glowing giant crystal amidst the night sky. To create this fleeting wonder, the price paid was not cheap. Over 10,000 workers and engineers had to fight continuously for 15 days and nights. They worked an average of 12 to 14 hours a day in the bone-chilling -30-degree cold, a place where machines might go on strike, but humans were not allowed to stop. All that sweat and extraordinary effort was just to exchange for the smiles and awe of over 2 million visitors flocking here from all over the world every winter. When spring comes, the ice will melt, the city will vanish, but the record of human will shall remain forever. Ladies and gentlemen, this video was synthesized and curated by Wind from various knowledge sources. Although we have tried our best, it is certainly hard to avoid errors regarding technical information. Therefore, I strictly hope to receive feedback and contributions from everyone in the comments section below so that our content can become even better. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give me a like and hit the subscribe button to support Wind in releasing the next masterpieces. Thank you for watching, goodbye, and see you again.